Hi, Homeworthy. We're Joe and Joe. Welcome to our beach house in San Clemente, California. Come on in.
Watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Joe Menard.
And I'm Joe Toscana, and we are here in San Clemente, California. Welcome to our home. We've been in this home about 2 years, and we discovered San Clemente, this charming little surf town, about 4 years ago. We were living up in the wine country and decided we didn't love it, and so over COVID, I did an extensive search from Santa Barbara all the way down the coast to La Jolla. Somehow we found San Clemente. We had never been here before, and we did a road trip and fell in love with it, and that was how it all started.
Yeah, and what we found in San Clemente, the people are super friendly. You're walking along the beach trail, everybody says hello, and that was a big part of why we wanted to come here. We're right beside the beach, and the people are friendly. We love the beach.
So we didn't know a soul down here, which is kind of crazy, and a lot of our friends are like, where are you moving to? But we decided we wanted an adventure. All the kids are out of the house doing their thing, and this was our time to figure out what we wanted to do. And so we came down here, we found this charming area called T Street Beach, called a realtor, went looking at houses. Unfortunately, we couldn't really find a turnkey house, which is ideally what we wanted. And we came down a couple times, and we kept landing on this one house that wasn't exactly for us, but the location was ideal. And so we met with an architect that we absolutely loved, EYOH Design, and said, can we change this up? Can we make this more us? Can we change, there was a little galley kitchen we like to entertain. Can we move the kitchen to another part of the house? Can we kind of warm it up and make it more us? And they said absolutely, and we bought the house and started the project.
And the project ended up being fairly extensive. It was right in the middle of COVID. There were a lot of lags in logistics of getting things, but in the end of the day, all the time we invested in it, this place is fabulous. We couldn't have asked for a better home right near the water.
Actually, I'd have to say, people are like, oh, I'm happy with the results. I would have to say the results are better than expected. So we absolutely love it, and we're very happy with our move here. And our friends from Northern Cal that come to visit, they can understand, when they come here, they can understand why we did this. So we're just living the life that we imagined and loving every second of it.
And to that point, we often get the question, how could you leave Sonoma? It's wine country, it's beautiful. And we say, come on down. And they get here and they go, I get it, okay.
Welcome into our kitchen area. This is an important part of our home and was one of the major changes that we made to the home. Originally, the house had a very small galley kitchen around the corner that was very small, hard to work in, didn't really induce a whole lot of entertaining. And one of the things that we really wanted to do here was to move the kitchen to the center area, which was a lot of unused space, and it also has this amazing ocean view and a canyon view. And so this was kind of a big deal because we had to take out a fireplace and plumb and do everything that needed to be done for a great kitchen. So what we did here was we created this very massive island, which we can seat about 10 people. It's kind of the hub of the house. We're always at the island, and actually, we've only used our dining table for puzzles. We're always eating here, we entertain here, we work on our computers here. But what you'll find is we did a double island. So this is more of our workstation island, where we've brought in this very wide custom sink. I think it's about 42 inches. And we did double faucets, which enables us to work together. Joe can do the dishes while I prepare dinner, etc. And so this has been a really fun, functional part of the kitchen. The other most important thing that that I love here is our see-through cabinets. So because this wall originally was all windows looking out at a great view, but we wanted to make it more of a workstation for the kitchen. It's got our induction stovetop and oven, and we also had a lot of things that we wanted to store. We decided to do upper kitchens, but what we did was we included just a glass back and got rid of the wood, and that is the one feature I think most people that come into the house, they look at these cabinets and they go, wow, that was a great idea. And so we're really happy with that. The other things that we did here were including this very large refrigerator freezer. Even though it's just the two of us, I like to cook, I like to entertain, and somehow we always have these full. I don't know how we do it, but they're jammed. Our clear cabinets, while you're able to kind of see through them to the view, also include a lot of things that I really love. I've got a lot of my favorite little plates for entertaining, and I think one of my favorite things that I have here, I've got some little art pieces, little teapots and things from artist friends that I can view in these cabinets with the clear glass. So it's not only been fun to be able to see through into the view, but also to see some of our pieces that we've collected over the years. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the induction stovetop, because I think it's something that our architect said they're starting to put more in homes, but a lot of people are sort of afraid of them or don't understand. They're actually very energy efficient. When you turn on the stovetop, basically it just heats the food and not the pan. And what I found is that it is super fast. I can boil a pot of water in about 2 minutes. And once you get used to how it works, much more efficient in how you cook, much more precise. And so I feel that while people still have the big gas ranges that are starting to become old-fashioned, they're still a little afraid of these induction stoves, but I'm 100% for them, and I recommend it if you want to experiment with it. One of the things we wanted to use this house for, we love to entertain, we love to have visitors. I'm Italian, I love to cook, and we wanted a home that had a nice flow and could accommodate a lot of people. So you'll see as we walk through it, we've created a very large kitchen. It's the hub of the house. We're there all the time, and we've got some open spaces, a lot of little areas where people can collect both inside and out. And so it's been a really great home for having people here all the time.
Yeah, I mean, in every home, the kitchen and the area around the kitchen is always where people focus. And even though we have some great outdoor areas, the islands in the kitchen are just where everybody gathers. And as usual, lots of talk, lots of fun times, really.
Okay, let's go across the kitchen area into the other side of the house. But first, I want to stop and have Joe show you one of our favorite little places.
So in the morning, I said before that we sit on the couch. That's in the winter. In the summertime, we're over here in what Joe designed as a little cubby. This used to be a little sitting area for having breakfast. But what we do is we can sit on these chairs, the dogs hop up on our laps, and we can enjoy the view. And that really has made a big difference in how we spend our mornings. It's just a good space, a warm space in the morning where we can enjoy the coffees that I make for her.
And don't forget, it's also the best spot for the sunset. So we put in this built-in bench, which has storage underneath, which has been really great for blankets and pillows. And every evening, the sun sets right over the ocean here, and it's some beautiful, fiery West Coast sunsets that we love. And we can just lounge here and enjoy those. I think what makes this house our home is that we're so comfortable here with everything that has been put in it, whether it's the art, the furniture. It's a place that I always want to come back to, and we recently spent some time in New Zealand and before that Hawaii, and I have to say, just coming home to this house felt amazing. I was anxious to come home at the end of those trips.
And I think to add to that, there's a lot of rooms and areas within this house, and they've been very well designed. Joe has done a great job with furniture and everything else, and every room feels homey. It doesn't feel like it's somebody else's house, or it doesn't feel like it's a hotel. It just feels very comfortable, very homey.
So when we lived up in the wine country, we had 3 acres of property. And what we did moving to the beach was we exchanged our 3 acres for 3 courtyards. And here's our courtyard that overlooks the ocean. This is a place we like to entertain. And the house originally came with this cement built-in sofa. And at first we weren't big fans and we were going to rip it out. And then we learned that a lot of the landscape architects were putting this exact cement sofa into all of the new homes. So we decided to make this a little space and add some more comfortable furniture where we can come out here and look at the waves and hear the waves, and spend our sunset in the summers out here with the gas fire going and entertain. Another one of our outdoor courtyards is this little kind of sheltered area that comes off of our kitchen, and we have a bifold door that we open up. And what's really neat about this door, which I wanted to show you, is that it has a built-in screen. So we can close the screen when we're out here, leave it open for fresh air. And we found that this courtyard we seem to use more than other outside areas because it's very calm and sheltered. And sometimes when the ocean air gets really cold or windy, we can just come out here and read and hang out, and it's just a nice little spot.
So one thing that Joe didn't mention, there's a piece in the back here that's a joint collaboration between the artist and the mechanic. So Joe took some art from the internet, I suppose, added some touches, and came up with a Photoshop version of this art piece with the vase and the different faces up above. I took that and turned it into a numerically controlled CAD file and went to a makerspace nearby that had a water jet. So I cut that on the water jet and then I welded it together. So Joe designed it, I made it, and this will go wherever we go. We will never give that away. It's a beautiful piece.
Because we're people that like to entertain, we chose this 6-foot round table, exterior table, because we can sit out here on warm summer evenings and we can actually get about 10 people around this table and have really nice meals and conversation. So it's kind of a version of our island, but only outside, where we can have a really nice gathering.
And I mean, I should compliment Joe. I mean, we hired a landscape architect, but at the end of the day, Joe played an instrumental part. All of this greenery was installed, and it feels like we're almost in Hawaii. It really has a nice feel, very garden-like, plantation-like, and people walk in and go, ooh, it's very relaxing. So we come out here and read a book in the afternoons. Sometimes we just hang out with the dogs with a glass of wine. It's a very nice space. We enjoy it.
Joe and I have been retired for a little over 10 years now, and we both had careers in the Silicon Valley, Bay Area, and my background was graphic design. I was a creative director for some companies up there, and I segued a little bit into interior design as I was winding down. So the design part of this house was really important to me, and because of that career of always presenting creative work to clients for their input, what was really fun about this house, for the first time, we actually used a fabulous architectural firm that presented to us. And I have to say that one of the happiest times down here was when they presented to me all of the materials and the designs and the mood boards. I was just giddy. Joe will tell you, it was so much fun to just have somebody present creative ideas and be on the other side of the table. And I enjoyed that so much.
What she really enjoyed was putting the headset for a Quest on and walking through the house in 3D.
Yes.
She did look rather silly doing it, but she thoroughly enjoyed it. As for my career, I started off as an electrical engineer. I evolved into business, running business units, mostly in semiconductors and software businesses, ran sales organizations, ran marketing. So while Joe spent a lot of time, in design and all that, I got to do the fun stuff like smart home, Sonos sound systems, TV. But that's what I do anyway, so.
We're a good pair.
My tech background helped a lot to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, we're the opposite in that direction. Going into our living space, I'm going to have Joe take over and show you our living room where we hang out quite a bit.
Because the living room is all about electronics, of course. One of the things that Joe really, really wanted was it should be very clean. If Joe can see a wire, she gets really annoyed. So what we did is, and I'm not going to open the door because it's an electronic closet. We have a closet full of electronics over here. All of the wires go through the ceilings. We pre-planned it that way so that you wouldn't see a wire. And we're big streamers. So we have an 83-inch TV, which with the couches that we picked out, which recline. I love to sit with my feet up, and Charmy loves to sit on my lap. So this has worked out really well. We have speakers in the ceiling. We have surround sound. We can watch Dune in full thundering sound, or we can watch some of Joe's chick flicks, and she can giggle while I go upstairs and work in my office. So this has really turned out to be where we sit most of the time. In the morning, Joe's on that corner with the two pups. I'm over there having my coffee over there. It's really turned into a space that we spend our evenings. It's really a nice space, very entertaining, and the TV is great. So,
and I want to
do you approve?
I'd like to add one thing, and that is our wallpaper. Having been a graphic designer for many years, I love pattern and I love wallpaper, and I've had it in all my homes. This particular wallpaper is from a company in Sweden, and I fell in love with it when I saw it, but I knew that my engineer husband might have a problem with the scale. And so what I did was I created a mock-up in Photoshop and put in the furniture and everything was to scale to show him exactly how it could look. Well, he was away when the installer was putting it up, and I was a little worried because those leaves are ginormous, and I thought, oh, I'm a little worried. Well, the wallpaper hanger happened to be about a similar demographic as my husband, and the contractor happens to be a similar demographic of my husband, and they both loved it. And the wallpaper hanger said it was his favorite wallpaper of all times. So that was a little bit of a relief. And when he came home, he loved it. Phew.
But I think the important thing that Joe mentioned, which makes it easier for me, she has excellent visualization skills. I really don't. So when she takes a Photoshop of a room, you're actually looking at a picture that is exactly what it's going to look like. So I was able to look at it and say, looks good. So it eliminated a lot of debate because I could actually see what it was going to look like. So one of the other things here in the living room, which is interesting, and actually for the whole first floor, is there were 8-foot ceilings. Now, the original house was designed by a commercial architect, and we found out that there was 2 feet between the floor above and the ceiling below. So what we did is we raised all the ceilings we could, so they're now 9 feet, and to make it really attractive and hide some of the beams that had to be there, we used this great wood and made it look, and underneath these there actually are beams, though they're not exactly going all the way across, but this gives it a really nice feel and a really refined finish versus, it used to be like a tunnel or a cave because it was so low, it just felt dark and uncomfortable. And now it feels open and it really brings it to life. We have this cabinet over here which has a unique feature for the dogs. You can see their crates are inside the cabinet. So when they want to sleep at night, we send them in here, we leave the doors open, they go in there happily, we get up in the morning, they come out, they go out and do their business. So this has been a nice addition as well, and it's, you know, it's very discreet.
Welcome to one of our guest rooms. This room was here off the living room, and we decided to keep the footprint as is, but we gave it a little bit of a facelift. One of the things I love about the room is more wallpaper. This wallpaper can be seen from the living room, and so I had to be really careful to make sure that it worked with the large scale wallpaper that we have out there. So what you'll see here is a similar color palette, but it's a much smaller scale pattern, which usually when you want to mix patterns correctly, you might play with the scale, the large and the small. It helps them to not compete with each other. And so I've been really happy with this, and it adds just a little bit of whimsy to the room. Basically, you know, we've added a window to brighten this dark room. Right here, we kept this original wardrobe. The previous owners were European, and I think that they added this as a sort of a piece of furniture, but a way to store clothing, and we really liked it, and so we kept that. What you'll find here is a whimsical little paper mache light fixture that I actually brought with me from my art studio in our other home. It was painted a very bright chartreuse green, which I loved, which worked beautifully in that space. But when I brought it down here, it just didn't seem to work. And so we spray painted it white. And so it adds this little bit of charm, but doesn't overpower the room. In talking about mixing pattern, which is one of my passions, here again, we're mixing two different patterns. But again, because one of them is large and one of them is small, and some of the colors kind of blend together, it really works. Some people might find it busy, but I actually really enjoy mixing patterns and making them feel like they're meant to go together in an unexpected way. What we'll do now is take a peek into the ensuite bathroom. This bathroom originally was very dark. It was very masculine, a lot of black tub and shower and counter. And so what we wanted to do is make it a little bit more spa-like. So we lightened up the colors. We kept the basic footprint of all of the plumbing, but one of my favorite parts is this beautiful Celadon tile that just encloses the little area for the shower. The other thing that we did in the shower is we incorporated a window to brighten up the space, and because we didn't want anybody to see through that glass, we ended up using a fluted, if you take a look, there's a fluted obscure glass in there, which kind of hides any body parts. Our style for this home, because we are a little bit opposite in that I'm more design focused and he's more function focused, what I've learned is that things need to be somewhat neutral and comfortable, but they also need a little bit of interest for me. So what we've done in our home is we've mixed a little bit of calm with a little bit of whimsical or a little surprise. For example, our living room, comfort's very important to Joe. I'm more about like how it looks, but we've got this sectional that's very comfortable. The seats recline. He feels really good when he's watching TV, but I've covered it with pillows that I love. And so it's kind of been a compromise of making sure both of us love the space with both our design and our function backgrounds.
And Jo was very good because she had some what I considered to be great ideas, some ideas that were crazy, and if I said that's crazy, we kind of came to a joint agreement to make it more what we both want. And if it was what I want, she would have hated it, because I'd want more modern and stark and all that, and she's made it much warmer and much more enjoyable.
Oh, thank you. Welcome to our entryway into our San Clemente home. We've got Pixel and Charmy here.
This is Charmy, our two rescue dogs.
Two resident pups. We wanted to talk a little bit about our entry. We made some significant changes here. Originally, the house had a stairwell that came along this wall, which was red, and blocked any kind of entry to the outside. And so what our architect did was he came up with this brilliant idea to move the stairs, and because we couldn't add any footprint to the house, the stairs actually are floating above the ground, not adding to the footprint. So what that did was it enabled us to put this bifolding door that we can go out into our courtyard, which we actually use quite a bit. And coming down along this beautiful stone wall, this wall actually cuts through the entire house. It goes through multiple rooms, it extends on either side on the exterior, and it cuts through the roof up above. And so originally this wall was covered in a sort of a faux cement. It continued here. There was actually a piece of it right here that kind of blocked these spaces, which we removed. And we thought, well, what should we do with this? Should we paint it a color? Well, our brilliant architect said, no, let's cover it in stone. Wherever it shows up, inside, outside, it has this consistent look of stone. And we've been very happy with it. It adds a really lovely warmth, a textural aspect. I think that part of our remodel challenge was to warm up this home that had a very cement, cool kind of ultra-modern feel, and by adding the wood and the metal and the stone, it's really helped the house feel more about warmth and comfort and less about modern angles and that sort of thing. So this area, which is our dining table area, pretty much only gets used for puzzles. We don't actually eat here, but we still wanted to make it an interesting space. And we brought in some of our art. This is a piece that I had commissioned for the years when we used to drive from the Bay Area through San Francisco and into the wine country. And so that's kind of a nice memory of the times that we spent up there. As we come into this room, because the ceiling is so high, we needed some artistic things. And so these were some garden totems that I had purchased in the wine country. They're supposed to be out in the garden, but I thought they were so cool that I wanted to actually look at them every day. And so we put them on our table. And what it does is it kind of brings you up and fills some of the space and meets with these light fixtures that we had made. There's two light fixtures here. And because the house is so angular and square, a lot of our light fixtures you'll find are round, kind of bubble shapes, and it sort of makes a more organic feel to the house to have those round shapes. As we go into here, we've got a new piece that I actually just picked up last week from a Central California artist that I love, Cynthia Meyer, and this is a little bit of nostalgia for me. It's a painting of an old blue super beetle that I had in college, and this takes place at a vegan restaurant in Morro Bay, and so it's kind of just very nostalgic and personal to me, and it makes me think about some of the fun things I did in my earlier years. We just hung that a couple days ago. As we go into this wing, one of the things that we were missing in the house was a powder room, and so our architect carved out this little space and made it so interesting. Just a little powder room, but you can see that some of that stone wall is in there, and there was some interesting tile that they selected, and we had a lot of fun with that tile. Being a graphic designer, I was kind of picky about how that pattern would lay out, and so Dustin, the architect, and I actually had it on the floor, and we moved around all the little pieces for about an hour until we got it exactly how we wanted it. And then it was installed. And then of course, now I'm looking at it going, I should have moved that piece over too. But we love the powder room, we use it all the time, and it's a little, kind of a little jewel of the house. So now we enter into the other guest wing of the house, which originally was the kitchen area. And what we decided to do was split it into 2 rooms. We basically got 2 rooms and a bathroom in between, which can be closed off when we have guests. But I wanted to have a little space for me, and so this part of the guest area is kind of my little playroom. And so I do fun things like, for example, right now I'm creating a modern beach house dollhouse. And so it's kind of my rainy day project. And unfortunately, we haven't had a whole lot of rainy days down here in Southern California, but I need to get back onto it. And what I'm doing is wallpapering, putting in white oak flooring. I've got an island kitchen starting down here, and just having a lot of fun with it. It's sort of my little guilty pleasure to come in here and play with that. So that's kind of my space to goof off on this. I've got this very old antique drafting table that was kind of too big for the room, but I am using it and enjoying it. When I'm working on my dollhouse, I sit in this really fun little chair that our daughters rolled it up the hill one day from their high school. It was in the dump, and they thought it was really cool, and it was covered in this old ripped up orange polyester. And so I decided that it was worth being reborn. And so I actually reupholstered it myself and had a lot of fun with it. And so it matches these pillows that I had made and adds a little nostalgia to the room with this old chair, but it's actually quite comfortable. So this is what I enjoy when I'm in my space. When we have guests come, for example, my niece might come with her 2 little ones. We're able to put the 2 little ones on the double trundle, and they can kind of close off this whole area to be their space. And they will have a door to the outside with an outdoor shower coming in from the sandy beach. They can rinse off, and they can go right into the bathroom here, where we've got some really cool ocean blue tile that has a little feel of a little wave to it with the curve. Another one of our fun lights with more circles, more ocean bubbles wherever we can put them. And then we'll come out here to another guest room and part of the wing. And this is a really quiet little part of the house where our guests can have some peace away from everybody. Of course, you'll see there's more wallpaper. Any opportunity to put in a wall of wallpaper, and I will take that. And so this is just a very much bring the outside in kind of tropical greenery. What you'll find on the bed is I love mixing textiles, and these pillows, I think I purchased them about 25 years ago. I was having a phase of collecting vintage 1950s bark cloth. I used to work for eBay, and so I was really big on there constantly. You know, it was part of my job, but I was also, you know, in there finding all these really cool things. And I'm really thankful that I kept these all these years, because I think they're really fun. It's really fun to have like an older element to a room and mixing kind of new and old. And on that same note, what you're going to find over here, this lingerie chest was back in my bedroom when I was a little girl, and I kept it all these years, but it was really looking bad, and it was also looking very dated. And so what we did was we had it painted this really bright white, and I got some new hardware that I put on here, and it kind of has given it a whole new life. It's so cute that my niece actually said that she wants this in the will, which I think is funny. But what I did was I took my inspiration from these cute little Anthropology nightstands that also have the lucite handle. So I was able to find some that matched, and it ended up making a really nice piece that kind of works in the room.
The thing I like the most about this house is, first, it feels really nice inside. Second, it's surrounded by some lush, real nice vegetation. But probably more important, when you look out the windows, all you see is ocean. Minute down the road, we're on the beach. So it's a great place to live, but inside the house, it really is super. We really, really like it.
I have to say, when Joe and I have been married only 13 years, We're second marriages, and when I met Joe, he told me that he imagined a place where he would live where he could hear and see waves. Somehow we ended up in the wine country. We're surrounded by beautiful vineyards, but there was no water. And so I think one of the things that I love about this house is that we can hear and see the waves. We hear the waves at night. We feel like we're on vacation all the time. Let's go upstairs. As I mentioned earlier, our architect created this really cool staircase that sort of juts out, and he felt like this would be a really great little feature wall to do something, and so he found this really interesting tile that kind of looks like Ruston Corten steel, but it's beautifully installed tile. And he also custom designed these railings, which you'll see as we go upstairs. These railings, it's a really interesting pattern because it's a random. We didn't want it to look symmetrical in any way, and so all of these little pieces were soldered on to be a very random mix of metals. And as we go upstairs and we continue with the white oak floors, we come out to some areas with some big, beautiful windows where the sun comes in the morning. We have this large wall for a large piece of art. This piece of art I commissioned, and it is prickly pear cactus. I don't know if you can see it, but I do. And as we go upstairs, one of my favorite little delights is a new laundry room that EYOH Design, our architect, created from a balcony. And originally there was just a washer and dryer in the master closet, but we wanted a proper laundry room, and what we have here, this was a glass door that led out to a balcony that goes to a roof deck, which we don't ever use. But now we have a wonderful little laundry room that's very functional. I even have a clothesline out here to hang my clothes. And the best part, a hamper that rolls into my master closet. Got two compartments, and I have dirties and clean, and I push it through and I can grab it on the other side in my master. And so now what we're going to do is have a look at the upstairs area, and I'm going to turn that over to Joe.
So what I'm going to talk about is the master bedroom and also my office. And to a point I made earlier, there can be no wires. It has to look nice. So here is my office. It's got an okay view, you know, that's what people tell me. They say, who wouldn't want to work here? But one of the cool things about, at least for me, cool things, if you look at the desk, it can be a standing desk, and there's a mechanical crank. You turn it, and it almost looks, if you're familiar with the genre, steampunk. So I had these pieces made by a company in Houston, again with the steampunk kind of feel, the kind of old-fashioned machinery, and found this on Etsy. It's a lamp. Who knew? To the monitor, when I retired, I actually decided to build, since I used to be an engineer, build a video game. And I can tell you that if you're doing that, you need more than a little 27-inch monitor. So this is the modern version. The original version was 3 32-inch monitors that were black and obtrusive. And Joe kind of didn't like them at all. So this new one is much more modern. And what it allows you to do, and I highly recommend it to anyone that has any serious amount of work to be done, I can have 3 windows open. I can see them all. So when I was developing a video game, this would be the code, this would be the scene, and this would be, for me, all the YouTube videos I had to watch to learn how to do it. So this is where I spend a lot of my time. So I mean, some might say, well, why did you develop a video game? Well, I've been playing video games since the mid-90s, started with Myst and Riven, a lot of these puzzle games. The games that I like are puzzles. They're not shoot-em-ups. They're not, let's see how many people we can kill. They're all about walking around an environment and discovering things. So what I developed, and it literally took 3 years for me to do it, probably the first year learning how to use a game engine, is a puzzle game, a walk-around puzzle game called Escape World Dilemma. I'm not plugging it because it's free, but it's on Steam if you're interested. It's developed by one guy, so don't expect the refinement you get from Microsoft or Sony or whatever. It's a little janky, but it's a great puzzle game. And I had a lot of fun developing it. So moving on to the master bedroom. This is our master bedroom over here, because sometimes I'm at night working there. We have sliders that close it off. But the most significant thing in this bedroom, this room is kind of the same. This furniture wall piece was there. We've decorated with the books and family pictures. But originally, it was a nice balcony. There was a balcony like this. And it was nice. But, you know, in every place that I've lived, a bedroom balcony I hardly ever use. And our architect looked at it and said, get rid of that. This was the master suite. It's like 12 by 13. So now what we have by blowing this out and just putting windows in is we have a much, much bigger, and it's just much roomier. It feels good. When we go to bed, it's roomy, it's not cramped. And then to Joe's point about art, she gets some walls to put some art up on. And I should also add, if you may miss the subtlety of this, these are not shadows. This is palm frond wallpaper. And it's a nice touch. It isn't, the room isn't all white. It's a nice backdrop, and it ties in so that when we wake up, we can see the palm tree right out the window there. We can see the ocean, or Joe can. My side of the bed can't, but that's good. She gets to see it. And again, it's just a very nice, welcoming place for us to, I mean, I always get up in the morning, run downstairs, make Joe a cup of coffee, bring it back up, and she goes, yes. Moving to the master bath, we're just moving through a closet here. The master bath is very different than what it was. It used to have glass blocks in a circular pattern here, had a tub here. So we basically changed it completely. We wanted to have the two sinks. They had these basin sinks that didn't, at least for us, work. We moved the tub over to here, gave Joe a little station right here. And again, you can see the wall that's everywhere in the house. It's in this area here. And a nice, lovely shower. It's just a nice bathroom, pretty simple. So moving to the closet, and there's not much to see here, but Joe will want me to show off at least one thing. You know, we have clothes here, yeah, but down here, we have the other side of her hamper. Now she uses this and I don't. I just bring my laundry around, but she has a white side and she has a color side, and this was her invention. It's pretty cool. Moving further on the top floor here, we have one other area, and this is a new area in the house. Our architect came up with the idea that we should have a room, a bonus room, if you will, above the wing that you were in earlier. So he came up with this idea of the catwalk. And again, Joe talked about how these are all randomized. And again, you see the wall even up here. And as you enter this room, you see the wall even inside here. And this used to be an exterior window. We just left it up. But this is kind of like a bonus room. I like to listen to music, so I have speakers and an amplifier. There's a little bit of a story on the amplifier. If you look closely at it, it says Menard Audio. This is the result of a company that never became. I built this amplifier. I designed it because I used to be an electrical engineer. This is one of a kind. And if you're an aficionado or an audiophile, you'll remember this blown away man picture. And if you look carefully at these speakers, you will see that these are the exact same speakers. A little bit of trivia. And then we also have a little gym area. We belong to a gym, but this is easy to just run upstairs, do some exercise, quick, watch a little bit of a TV show, and you don't even have to get in the car. So that's the gym. This lovely piece of art was done by my daughter in 12th grade. I'm not sure she really wants me to display it, but there you are. You can actually go out. Let me open this up. And the ocean's right here. We haven't put any furniture out here, but it's really a nice add-on to the house. What home means to me is a place that I want to be. It's a place where my friends can come over and be with us and join us in conversation and fun. It's a place where my children can come. My children are at the four corners of the United States, so in the house we have places where they can sleep. There's enough bedrooms with bathrooms and all of that. So this is like a place you want to be. It's friendly, it's comfortable. We joke that when we go on vacation, we only want to be away for so many days because we miss the house.
Ditto.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.